Hey guys, tired of feeling stuck in your dating life and striking out in the dating game? You're not alone. Maybe you just need some good coaching. Welcome to Just Ask Her, the no BS podcast for real dating advice straight from a woman's point of view. Dating expert Gracie Pleschourt and her co-host, certified life coach Tracy Pleschourt, are here to give you the play-by-play on how to attract more women you're interested in. So, let's take back control of your dating life. This is Just Ask Her.
Welcome back to Just Ask Her, the podcast that helps you date with confidence, connect with real women, and finally feel in control of your dating life. I'm your host, Gracie, here with my mom, co-host, and certified life coach, Tracy, and we're excited to be back for another episode.
Episode 50, 2 from the big anniversary.
That's insane that we've been doing this for a year.
And we do have something special to tease at the end of this episode.
Yeah,
about
our 1 year anniversary of Just Ask Her.
So stay tuned until the end. All right, let's jump in. Submission 1 is from Saul. He says, "Hey, Gracie and Tracy, I'm a 28-year-old construction worker, used to being greeted by both male and female employees at hardware stores. However, at this Home Depot, a girl named Marlene caught my attention. We exchange smiles and hellos whenever we see each other, and she even goes out of her way to help me at the checkout, even when she's supposed to be clocked out. I'm unsure if she's just being friendly or if there's something more. I know her name, but I doubt she knows mine. Should I ask her out or not? I've been single for a couple of years and focused on improving my financial and physical well-being. Rejection doesn't scare me, but I struggle with shyness, especially around women I have a crush on. Any advice on how to proceed?"
Well, Saul, if you've been here for a while, you should know our answer. Yes, you should just ask her. The fact that you have these opportunities in your life is great, and it's very exciting. And it's also totally normal to not want to risk anything. You see her quite often and everything like that. So it's normal to have nerves and to wonder like, should I not? I think she's giving you good signs. I don't think that they're clear cut that she is interested romantically, but you're never going to find that out if you don't ask.
Just ask her. There was research from the University of Kansas that found 66% of men and 63% of women misread friendly behavior as flirting. Instead of asking, is she interested? The better question is, how do I want to show up? And you've done such a great job, Saul, of investing in yourself. The fact that you have been focusing on your financial, physical, mental well-being, and that you said you're not afraid of rejection. I think that's the grounded, self-respected type of man that's going to stand out. When you lead with curiosity and start asking yourself consistently, how is it that I want to show up versus whether or not she's interested in me, you're going to make the interaction so much easier for both of you. It's going to be less awkward if you're thinking, how do I want to show up versus is she interested?
Like I said, you're not going to know unless you ask, as long as you do it in an appropriate way. Like you said, she goes out of her way to check you out even after she's supposed to be clocked out. And so like, if there are times where she's not in front of other coworkers, I would say don't do it in front of other employees. You don't want to make her uncomfortable or embarrassed. If you have opportunities where it's just the two of you, she's checking you out, then I would go for it. If you do it in a respectful way and you're just like, hey, I don't want to overstep, but it is fun getting to see you every week when I come here. If you're single by chance, I would love to take you out for a drink sometime and then just see what she says. It's very low pressure. It's not overly forward. You're giving her a lot of room. Honestly, you can just say no pressure either way. Do not feel like you'll hurt my feelings. I just wanted to put it out there because I feel like I'd regret it otherwise.
Right. Whether she says yes or no, at least you know that you're honoring yourself. Yeah. You're getting the clarity that you're wanting, which is huge.
Yeah.
And I think you can be shy and still be decisive. You can decide, this is the kind of clarity I want. This is how I'm going to get it. It's okay to be shy. One of the quotes that I love that always strikes me when I hear it, and I forget it often, but courage is not the absence of fear. It's the action in the presence of it. Even when you are afraid, taking action is what courage actually is.
And I think the misconception is that you have to be fully confident in order to do these things. It's actually the exact opposite. You don't need to be fully confident because nobody is when they're trying something new for the first time. Confidence is built through giving yourself the evidence that you can go after things that you want, even when you feel nervous or scared. Confidence is built through having the courage to do these things.
Doing what you say you're going to do, not on how others respond. Confidence has absolutely zero connection to other people's responses or reactions. Has everything to do with you keeping the commitment to you.
Yeah, no, I like that.
All right. So thank you so much for submitting that, Saul. Let us know.
Write us an update.
We want to know what happens at
Home Depot.
Have you ever seen that TikTok?
No?
Oh my gosh. Everybody has to look this one up. It's the lipstick with the little girl. And she's like, oh, this is my lipstick. And she can't quite say lipstick. And then the mom says something like, well, we got to put on your lipstick because we're going to go to Home Depot. And she goes, we're going to Home Depot?
Oh, that's
Cute. I'll have to send it to you.
It's finally here. The Self-Made Man Dating Journal is officially live and ready for you to grab on Amazon. This was designed specifically for single men who are serious about improving their dating life. It helps you track your dates, reflect on your experiences, and actually learn from them, so you can stop repeating old patterns and start seeing real progress.
What I love most about this journal is how intentional it is. It's not just about writing down what happened. It's about helping you get clear in what you want, confident in how you're showing up, and connected to what's working and what's not. You'll find daily prompts, weekly reflection pages, and the date log. You'll record everything from how you felt before the date, what went well, what felt off, and what you do differently next time. That kind of self-awareness is what sets successful daters apart. This journal will help you slow down, spot patterns, and become more intentional with every single interaction.
We only printed a limited batch for this first run, so if this is something you've been needing, go grab it now before they're gone. We'll drop the link in the show notes and let us know what you think. We love hearing your feedback.
We can't wait for you to start using the Self-Made Man Dating Journal.
Submission 2 is written in by Kyle, and it says, I recently watched your video about approaching women who catch your eye. It was intriguing, but I'm curious about how you managed to get a woman to notice you. Despite having good style, regularly working out, maintaining good posture and body language, and being confident, I still struggle to get a woman's attention. Is there something else I should be doing? Are there limitations to how attractive someone can be? I would appreciate your insights on this topic.
Do you think that there's limitations on how attractive somebody can be?
I don't even know what that means. Like, no?
I think that his question reveals both self-awareness and the common misconception that attraction is something that we can manufacture rather than emanate. Okay, here's the deal, Kyle. You can't make women notice you through more effort or your style or your posture after those have already been optimized, as you say they are. Like you've worked really hard on all of those. Attraction, especially initial attraction, is deeper than that. Research has found that up to 90% of first impressions are driven by nonverbal cues and emotional energy, not appearance.
I was listening to a podcast with Vanessa Van Edwards, who is an expert on body language and cues. And there was a study that basically revealed people need to have at least 29 separate signals before they will make a move. So in context of like, this was in context of like people at a bar, like trying to get somebody to come over and talk to them or trying to signal their interest in another person. And on average, the person needed 29 separate signals before they would take it as an indicator of interest.
So a woman who's sitting at a bar
would have to give 29 separate signals before a man would approach. And this was on both ends, men and women.
Wow. And these are nonverbal?
Well, yeah. For the conversation.
That's a lot.
And so the reason I bring that up is because you're basing this off of probably 1 or 2 glances. Like, you're basing somebody's interest in probably way too short of a span of time and way too few signals to even know. Women are so much more passive about signaling their interest. There's a bunch of different ways they can do this. Like, at the end of the day, when I hear those stats, it's even more of a reason to not wait for the perfect signal to go up and talk to somebody. The only goal you should be trying to achieve is starting the conversation. And then you're going to get much clearer signals from the conversation than trying to observe her before having the conversation. And so it's so much more worth the time to just go up and start the conversation and find out whether or not it's a good fit, whether or not you guys hit it off, whether or not you guys connect, whether or not you want to ask for her number.
So, Kyle, there's a hint of self-doubt in this submission. You said, despite having good style, regularly working out, maintaining good posture and body language, and being confident, I still struggle to get women's attention. A self-made man, or somebody who's becoming a self-made man, thinks that I am somebody worth noticing versus questioning, why isn't anyone noticing me? Instead of trying to get attention, practice generating the energy that naturally commands it.
What does that look like?
It's when your internal state matches the external. You're talking about the external, the posture, you're fit, you're attractive, but your internal isn't matching that. There is definitely self-doubt. It's not congruent. There's some self-doubt. And so it really means practicing the belief that you are somebody worth noticing.
In situations where it makes sense, you're more likely to take opportunities than you are if you're in the mindset of nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody is showing interest in me. I do everything right and still don't get attention. And it's like that type of mindset is actually what's keeping you stuck right now. If you went in with the mindset of, I bring a lot to the table and I'm interesting to talk to, and I'm not going to waste time not starting conversations when I know that I'm capable of doing that. And I know that I can have a great conversation with anybody. It's one thing to put yourself in the places and seemingly do quote unquote all the things. And it's another to actually follow through on that and give yourself the evidence. You're starting off good. You've got the posture and the body language and all of that is really important. But then it's like next step is to actually start the conversation, is to actually initiate when you're interested.
Even if there is self-doubt present, you can do that and allow that uncomfortable feeling to be there. Mm-hmm. So our challenge to you is the next time you walk into a room, walk into a bar, walk into the gym, instead of focusing on, does she notice me? We want you to be thinking about who you are and what you bring to the table. So it's more about you noticing you, recognizing all of your value that you're bringing into that space. That subtle shift from seeking validation to radiating it is the real difference between being seen and being that unforgettable self-made man.
Hey there. If you're loving the Just Ask Her podcast, please take a quick second to rate us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It helps more awesome listeners like you find the show. And don't forget to spread the love by sharing this episode with all of your friends. All right, back to Just Ask Her.
Submission 3 is from David, and it says, "Hi, I'm David K., a 48-year-old man who recently ended a 30-year relationship. This means I'm single for the first time since I was 18. The dating world has drastically changed since then, and jumping back into it has been quite an experience. So far, the apps haven't been very successful for me. I've gone on some dates with nice women, but nothing has really clicked. I've heard you talk about the benefits of meeting people through shared interests or communities instead of dating apps, which makes a lot of sense. However, my main community is the local theater scene. I regularly act and sing, and while I love it, the community in Denver is pretty small. Dating within it can create drama behind the scenes, and straight men who date within the community often get a negative reputation that I'd rather avoid. On top of that, most of the people I would consider dating have known me for years as a married man. So my question is twofold. Is it possible to change how those who have only see me as the married guy perceive me? And if so, how can I approach dating within a small, close-knit community that sometimes feels more like a workplace? Thank you for taking the time to read this and for all the insightful and practical advice you provide every week.
My head goes in a couple different directions with this. First of all, I appreciate you writing in. I think this is really common. And so hopefully we can give you something to move forward with. And anybody else that's listening that has felt this before, to leveraging your networks and taking advantage of the places that you already go. We could also get creative about the places that you're going. If you don't want to mix, what is it? Peeing in the pool that you swim in, so that you aren't double dipping in the group that you spend a lot of time with already. If you want to keep that completely separate from dating, like, that's your choice. You can totally do that. And you can leverage it if you want. And it sounds like you haven't made a decision on that. So you're saying, I don't want to do that. And then you're also asking us a question on that. Yeah. And so I think first and foremost, you have to make a decision for yourself on whether or not that's an avenue you want to pursue.
I would ask yourself, what would I do if I knew I couldn't do it wrong? Mm-hmm. If I can't do it wrong, what's the answer?
And I think that is kind of an exercise we would do with you if we were coaching you, because most people are going to hear that and be like, well, there's a million ways that you could screw that up. So it's like, what if you couldn't do anything wrong is such a powerful thought or belief to try on in situations like this, because it gives you the motivation and the courage to just step out there and go for it. But if you're not quite there yet, that's okay. And I think I would first make that decision on whether or not you're willing to. It sounds like you want to, but you're just afraid that it'll have some backlash, and it might, right? Like, at the end of the day, that's always a possibility.
Mm-hmm. Like, it also decide he's going to be the person that turns around that stigma. Like he said that single straight men who date in that community have a bad reputation. Well, maybe it's high time that reputation is
and he said they can create drama behind the scenes.
He is in a theater type setting, so drama is inevitable.
Well, exactly. I think you need to give yourself the agency back in this. And if that's the direction you want to pursue, it can be a really good pool. These are all people that understand you and can relate to you on so many different levels. And so for that reason, it can be a great place to build connections from. And it's okay if you want to keep it separate. So I think it's like, you have to make that decision for yourself. If you decide you want to explore it, well, then it's just like deciding how you want to explore it. It's making a conscious effort. This is what I want to do. And I'm going to have my back the entire way through the process, because at the end of the day, usually it's the guys that are noticing these things on the front end, like noticing that there's bad reputations being thrown around and noticing that it creates a lot of drama. Like, the fact that you have that awareness, now you have some foundation to move from, to stay away from that, right? Like, you have some idea. It's the guys that don't realize those things that I'd be more worried about trying to pursue something in this type of community. It's usually the guys that are getting that label, the ones that are not being conscious of this.
Research shows that within just a few seconds, we lock in our impression of somebody. The interesting thing is, if you know or think you know what that impression is, you create evidence for it. You start subconsciously proving that identity to be true. And it also means that your friends, your peers, your acquaintances probably have an outdated label of you. At the end of the day, it makes perfect sense to understand that and change that. Like Gracie said, you have the agency to embody the new identity, and you don't even have to make some big announcement about your new status. Mm-hmm. You just decide that your energy and your actions are going to align with your new identity, and people's brains will update their picture of you automatically.
Yeah. The less you stress about trying to control how other people see you, the more you're going to enjoy this process. Because if you're constantly trying to shape the way that people look at you, like if they've only known you as a married man, that's how it's going to start. Mm-hmm. They're going to see you as the married guy. You're not married anymore. This is life. People transition in and out of things. People evolve with their situations. Yeah. So it's totally normal. That is the first reaction you're going to get. And then beyond that, you get to decide how you want to present yourself. Mm-hmm. And obviously that's not going to be as a married man anymore. And so the minute you stop making that something that you need to convince people of. It's like, this just is the reality.
Show them.
You just are a new version of you.
Yep.
And that can be a great thing, something you're very proud of and excited to explore. Or that can be something that you avoid or try to convince people not to see you that way. And that's not going to be an enjoyable process for you. You're constantly going to be worried about what other people think. And that's going to have you second guessing yourself. Be the David that you are now and be proud of that and be excited to explore what's coming instead of feeling like you have to explain yourself to everybody.
You can use this small, tight-knit community to your advantage. It doesn't have to be a limitation. It could literally be thought of as kind of your training ground for being seen differently. It's an acting community. You are used to performing. So now take on the role, this new identity, and use it to your advantage. Take some baby steps to get out of that social circle. Try expanding into different networks.
Part of the reason why you're feeling like you're in such a scarce situation is because you haven't really felt the need to step out of that. And it's like, what about an opportunity that now when you're presenting yourself as a new David or stepping into this new phase of life, and so
the married David identity is complete.
Yeah.
And now you're on to the next act.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so many different things that you can try. You can try within this same niche group, or you can try new groups and new things that you haven't tried before, thought about trying, but never did or never prioritized. Take this as your opportunity. Take this as like your kind of like kick in the butt to try new things and to see if they're something you would enjoy doing on a weekly or monthly basis. It doesn't mean you have to completely scrap everything or the old David. You can still enjoy the things that you enjoy and look for new opportunities as well.
It all boils down to what you decide, David. When you decide what you want to rewrite as the story of this next stage, and you start to believe in that, the audience will follow. Mm-hmm. So go break a leg. So we want to talk about the anniversary show that is coming up in 2 mere episodes.
Yeah, 2 weeks. We will have been recording this podcast for an entire year.
It happens to fall on the same week as Gracie's birthday. I didn't even realize that we launched this.
Yeah, so close to my birthday last year.
So close to her birthday.
Yep.
It has a lot of special meaning. You're a quarter of a century years old.
Ew. Don't say it like that.
Try being half of a century.
Why do you say things like that to yourself?
So anyways, we were thinking about what we would want to do that would really add value for our listeners and be playful and kind of fun, which is totally our vibe. We want to take your questions out to the street, and we want other women to answer questions. We want them to give you the answers that you want to know, and we want you to hear it from other women, not just us. We can analyze some of the thousands of questions we've gotten over the last year and come up with some good ones. But if there's something that's burning that you would love for the general population of single women to answer,
submit it the same way that you submit submissions for this show. We have it linked in the show notes every week for you to write in your submissions. Go there and give us your questions that you would like us to ask women so you can hear different perspectives. It was so funny in our community, in our membership the other day or last week, we were talking about how we had met somebody. She's single, probably mid-30s, early 30s.
Early 30s, yeah.
Yeah, she's like early 30s, and she's just telling us about all of her experiences. She's from London, and we shared that with our membership guys, and they were like, whoa, can you bring her in for a call? This would be so helpful to get another female perspective.
She's single too.
So that's what we're going to do for you guys. We're going to get lots more perspectives from single women.
We're taking
it to the streets. Give us your questions that you want us to ask, interview style, and we will put together a really fun episode for our 1-year anniversary of Just Ask Her.
Yep.
And hopefully we will have a sign for you by then too in our backdrop.
Don't count on it.
I can't remember who I was talking to, but they were like, I can't believe how pathetic this is.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's a blank white wall. It's not that bad.
When you look at other podcasts, do anybody else look like they are sitting in an insane asylum?
Here's the deal. We just got done giving advice. We can't change people's perceptions, and you can only do so much to curate the outside.
Obviously, we don't care. We've been doing this for an entire year. Obviously,
zero
we don't
effort
care.
into curating the outside.
We know that what you guys come here for is our advice and opinions.
Correct. We feel confident in the value that we're bringing to the table.
Totally.
Therefore, we haven't done anything to curate the outside, but we are going to change that. It's high time. Mm-hmm. You're totally falling out of the screen. I'm like front and center.
As you should be, queen.
Yes, yes. All right.
Drop your submissions, drop your questions that you would like to hear answers from other women on. In the meantime, make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Dating with Gracie. We put out new episodes of this podcast every single Wednesday. So we'll be excited to see you right back here next week. No matter where you are, what situation you're in, just ask her.